Everything you thought you knew about who killed Tupac just got more complicated. Suge Knight says Duane Davis's own lawyers tried to pay him $1 million to make this case disappear.
Knight was in the car with Tupac the night he was shot on the Strip in September of 1996.
Knight made that claim in a call to TMZ Live on August 25th.
Number one, Keffe D says that I met with his attorney and Reggie Sr. to give his nephew some bread. I was in the county jail. That's all you got to do is check the time and see where I was at. But the crazy thing about this, everybody using this as a way to be like, look at me, look at me. I ain't doing this to say, look at me, look at me. I'm doing this saying, hey, that's my homie, and his life wasn't no motherfucking circus, and his life wasn't about.
According to Knight, Davis's legal team offered him up to $1 million to say Davis wasn't even in the car that pulled up next to him and Tupac that night. Knight says he turned it down flat, telling TMZ his loyalty to Tupac can't be compromised.
But they sent the attorney to talk to me, put me out in this prison right here. And Keffe D and them attorneys was like, hey, we'll give you a half a ticket. We'll give you $1 million. They talked to this person that worked for Puffy. They talked to this person who works with them. All the lawyers getting together. And I told them, look, my loyalty and love for Tupac can't be compromised with nobody. To say that he wasn't there, he wasn't in the car, and all this other.
Sit with that for a second. If true, that's not just a defendant hoping a witness misremembers something. That's an alleged, direct attempt to buy silence from the one other man alive who was actually there. And this isn't the first time Knight's made a claim like this. In an earlier TMZ Live appearance, on August 11th, he called Tupac's murder an assassination, not a gang retaliation gone wrong, and accused crooked cops of being mixed up in the bigger picture.
You know, one of the things you got to realize, this was assassination. It wasn't over no chain. It wasn't over no colors. This was assassination. And they can do one who assassinated Kennedy and everybody can talk about it. But when it comes to Tupac, nobody really wants the truth.
He's also repeatedly said more than one person was involved, though he's never named names.
Knight says he won't name names, but claims many others were involved in Tupac's killing. He is on the witness list to testify. The list also names members of Tupac's family, former Las Vegas Mayor Oscar Goodman, and Governor Joe Lombardo.
Now, I want to be honest with you about how to weigh this. Suge Knight has a well-earned reputation for saying dramatic things to television cameras, and none of what he's claiming has been presented as evidence in the actual trial. He hasn't testified. He's said publicly he doesn't want to, so take it for what it is. An explosive allegation from someone with every reason to want attention, and also someone who was quite literally the only other person in that car. Both things can be true at once, and honestly, that tension is what makes this so hard to just dismiss. Because here's the thing, even without Suge Knight, the actual trial happening inside that Las Vegas courtroom is already built on a foundation that doesn't quite hold together. Duane Davis has told his own version of this story at least 3 separate times over 2 decades. A recorded 2008 police interview, a paid 2017 docuseries appearance, and a 2019 memoir. In the 2008 interview, played for jurors on day 4, Davis described the shooting in detail. He said the car pulled up on the wrong side to fire from where he was sitting, telling detectives, "If we would have been on my side, I would have blast." Because of the angle, he said he passed the gun to DeAndre Smith in the back seat, and his nephew, Orlando Anderson, grabbed it and fired.
What happened when you pulled up alongside?
Shoot. No, you're not being clear. He asked you, you said got to shooting. What do you mean got to shooting?
Who got to shoot?
Orlando. After we was like, damn, we get paid now.
Okay.
But when you said paid, been paid by Puffy, right? Yeah.
In the 2017 docuseries audio, played on day 6, the story gets murkier. When the show's producer pressed Davis on who actually pulled the trigger, he wouldn't give a straight answer. He said he'd rather stick to the code of the streets.
To keep it for the code of the streets. It just came with a backseat, bro.
The producer pushed back, pointing out that both men Davis could have named, Anderson and Smith, were already dead. He then asked Davis directly if he wanted to apologize to Tupac's family. 2 formal recorded accounts, 9 years apart. A detailed account in one, a dodge in the other. When asked the single most important question in the entire case.
Was your show scripted at all?
No, and I I pride myself in making sure that my work meets the strictest journalistic standards.
And it's not just his story that's shifted. His composure in court has too. During one exchange, Davis actually stood up and pointed at the prosecutor saying, "I get beat up by the cops. The guy attacked me in here, sent me to prison. This is just wrong, and it's mostly this guy."
Duane Davis gets the judge's attention and then unleashes.
I get beat up by the cops. The guy that attacked me in here, sent me to prison. This is just wrong, and it's mostly this guy.
The prosecutor's dry response, for the record, "I think he's indicating he's upset I'm prosecuting him for murder." His own defense team hasn't made this easy on him either. In his opening statement on day 1, attorney Michael Sanft put a single censored word in giant capital letters on a presentation slide, describing 2 decades of his client's own public statements. Think about what that actually means. The man's own lawyer is standing in front of a jury, asking them not to believe his own client. There's a human center to all of this that's easy to lose in the legal back and forth, and I think it's worth sitting with. A man named Malcolm Greenidge, a childhood friend of Tupac's, part of his group The Outlaws, was actually court-ordered to testify on day 7 because he didn't want to be here for any of this. He said he was in a car right behind Suge Knight's BMW that night.
And position-wise, where were you relative to Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight's car?
Right behind him. We were at a light. Mr. Shakur and Suge Knight was talking to some young ladies. We couldn't hear what they was talking about. When those young ladies pulled off, another car pulled up and started shooting at Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight.
When the shooting stopped, he ran up to check on Tupac. According to his testimony, Tupac looked at him and said, "Get on the ground, they're going to shoot you."
Mr. Shakur said to me, "Get on the ground, they're gonna shoot you."
Greenidge turned around. A responding police officer had a shotgun in his face. A man who'd just been shot multiple times used what he had left to warn a friend, not to save himself.
When I turned around, there was a shotgun in my face.
And who was holding the shotgun?
Police officer.
So what do you do?
I got on the ground.
Were you able to observe any of the injuries to Mr. Shakur at that time?
I could not see the injuries to Mr. Shakur.
Were you able to see any of the injuries to Mr. Knight?
His head appeared to...
Tupac's own siblings have been sitting through all of this too. Set Shakur and Mapreem have reportedly stayed for nearly every day of testimony, only walking out once, the day autopsy photos were shown. Set spoke to CNN about it afterward, saying simply, "It was just a whole lot of information to take in." That's a family relearning the worst day of their lives in a courtroom, 30 years later, in front of cameras. There's more from day 7 worth knowing. A former Compton gang unit detective, Robert Ladd, testified that Davis was a high-ranking shot caller in the Southside Compton Crips.
Yes, he was a shot caller.
Meaning, in Ladd's account, younger gang members wouldn't have opened fire on Tupac with Davis present unless Davis allowed it. Ladd also described what happened in the 10 days right after Tupac was killed. A wave of retaliatory violence between the mob Piru Bloods and the Southside Crips that left 3 people dead and 10 more targeted in attempted murder drive-bys, with police searching 38 houses trying to contain it.
2 days after Tupac was shot was our first shooting. One of the OGs was at a store on Alondra Boulevard in Compton, and he was shot in the back several times, and a 10-year-old little girl got caught in a crossfire, and she was hit, and she was in critical condition. And the guy that was shot was a Southside Crip member, and again, he was a shot caller for the Southside Crips. His name was Darnell Brim. Greg, we had 3 murders and 10 attempted murder drive-by shootings that happened within a 10-day period in Compton.
But it's worth being fair here, too. On cross-examination, Ladd admitted there's no evidence Davis was actually in Las Vegas that night, and no evidence Davis ever put a hit on anyone. That's a real point in the defense's favor. The same day, jurors also saw physical evidence, a Las Vegas police officer named Mark Hatton held up a model of the actual bullet cartridge case recovered from the scene, and prosecutors introduced documents pulled from search warrants, including what's been described as a money-due bill tied to the Monte Carlo resort. The significance of that document hasn't been fully explained yet, but it's now part of the record. Going back to day 5, 2 more developments are worth knowing. First, documentarian Michael Dorsey testified that during those 2017 interview sessions, 4 to 6 crew members were in the room the entire time, alongside Davis's own attorney, meaning his legal team may have accidentally given up attorney-client privilege just by having that conversation happen in front of witnesses. Second, Davis told the court he believes he and his family are now in real danger, claiming his home and his wife's car were vandalized after prosecutors put his address in the case record, and that his own son moved without even telling him the new address, specifically to keep it off court paperwork. Whether that's a legitimate safety concern or a sympathy play in front of the jury, it's added a strange, tense undercurrent to a trial that already carries 30 years of weight. So where does all of this leave the actual case? Here's my honest read, and I want to be clear, this is a prediction, not an accusation of anyone. I don't think Suge Knight's bribery claim is going anywhere near a courtroom unless there's something to actually back it up. Right now it's a phone call to a TV show, not sworn testimony. But I do think the contradiction in Davis's own recorded accounts is going to matter a lot more. Prosecutors have shown again and again that Davis changes small but important details depending on who's asking and what's at stake. That pattern is much harder to explain away than one interview. The biggest open question left is still whether Suge Knight actually takes the stand. If he does, under oath, with all of this on the record, that's the moment that could genuinely change how this entire case is remembered. We'll keep following this trial as it develops. If you're following this case, like this video, subscribe to Spotlight Flow, and share it with anyone still trying to make sense of who really killed Tupac. Let us know in the comments. Do you believe Suge Knight's bribery claim? Or is this just Suge being Suge?